Have you ever watched a movie in English and understood almost everything, followed the jokes, knew what was happening, maybe even laughed at the right moments, but the second someone asks you to say something in English, your mind goes completely blank?
Oh, that feeling is so real. So many English learners share this frustration. You can read, watch TV shows, follow along with conversations, but the moment you open your mouth, your brain just short circuits.
Exactly. And if that sounds like you are not alone, and you are not broken. There's a very real reason this happens, and today we are going to break it all down.
Welcome to the show, everyone. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most misunderstood problems in language learning: why so many people can understand English perfectly, but still struggle to actually speak it.
I'm Alex.
And I'm Taylor. We're so glad you're here because we're not just going to explain the problem, we're going to give you real, practical strategies to fix it. So let's get into it.
All right, so let's start at the very beginning. Taylor, what's the single biggest reason people understand English but can't speak it?
Great point. Understanding a language and speaking a language are two completely different skills. They live in different parts of your brain and require totally different kinds of practice.
Right. Linguists have names for these. Receptive skills, like listening and reading, and productive skills, like speaking and writing. You can become very good at receptive skills without ever really developing the productive side.
Exactly. Think of it like this. If you've watched hundreds of hours of professional basketball, you know all the rules and strategies, but does that mean you can go out and play at that level? Watching is passive. Doing is active. Most English learners spend the vast majority of their time in passive mode, consuming English, but very little time in active mode, actually producing it, speaking it out loud.
And this is so understandable. Consuming English is comfortable. You can watch a show and feel like you're studying. But there's a real gap between consuming and producing.
And that gap, that's exactly what we're going to help you close today.
So let's talk about reason number 2, one that really hits home for a lot of people. It's the mental translation trap.
Oh, yes. This one is huge. When someone asks you a question in English, your brain hears it, translates it into your native language, you think of your answer in your native language, and then you translate it back into English to say it out loud.
And all that translation is happening in real time, under pressure, while someone is waiting for your response. No wonder it feels impossible.
It's like driving while simultaneously reading the manual. Native speakers don't do that. When they hear, "How was your weekend?" they just answer. The language is automatic.
And that automaticity is what we're really building toward. The goal isn't to be perfect in English. The goal is to stop translating and start thinking directly in English.
And that happens faster than you think when you practice the right way. But first, let's talk about the emotional side, because it's just as important.
Oh, 100%. Let's talk about fear.
Fear of making mistakes, fear of sounding silly, fear of people judging your accent. This fear is incredibly common. Speaking a language you're still learning is vulnerable. You're putting yourself out there.
When we're afraid of making mistakes, we avoid the very thing we need to practice. You don't speak because you're afraid. Because you don't speak, you never get better. And because you never get better, you stay afraid.
The cycle. And here's what I want every listener to hear. Making mistakes is how language learning works. Every fluent English speaker you admire made thousands of mistakes to get there.
Think about how babies learn to walk. They fall constantly, but they don't decide, falling is embarrassing, I'll just stay on the floor. They get back up, try again, and through all that falling, they figure it out.
And most people are far more forgiving than you think. When someone makes an effort to speak another language, people find that impressive, not something to laugh at.
There's actually a term for this, the affective filter. When you're stressed or afraid, your brain puts up a mental wall that blocks language from flowing naturally. Anxiety literally interferes with your ability to speak.
which means lowering your anxiety is a language learning strategy. The more relaxed and comfortable you feel when practicing, the better your speaking will become. So give yourself permission to be imperfect.
Okay, so we've covered passive versus active skills, the translation trap, and fear. Now let's get into the practical tips. What can you actually do to start bridging this gap between understanding and speaking?
Okay, tip number 1, and this might be the most powerful one, is to start speaking to yourself. I know that sounds strange, but hear me out. I'm going to make some coffee. The weather looks cloudy today.
This is brilliant because it removes all the pressure. Nobody's judging you, nobody's waiting for your response. You're just building the habit of producing English in a completely safe space.
And over time, this habit rewires your brain. You start thinking in English more naturally, which means less translation and faster speaking. It's a mental workout for your English speaking muscles.
Love it. Okay, tip number 2 is called shadowing. Shadowing is when you listen to a native English speaker, a podcast, a YouTube video, a TV show, and repeat what they say almost simultaneously, mimicking their rhythm, intonation, and speed. You're copying them in real time.
This trains your mouth and brain to produce natural-sounding English, not just the words, but the music of the language, the flow, where stress falls, how fast things move. You absorb all of that through shadowing.
Start with a 30-second clip and shadow it until you feel more comfortable. Then move on. You'll be amazed how quickly your speaking starts to feel more natural.
Tip number 3, find a speaking partner or community. Speaking with another person, even another learner, activates a different part of your brain. The pressure is real, but it's also manageable and motivating.
These days, it's easier than ever. There are apps, online communities, and language exchange platforms where you can connect with people learning English just like you. Some are even learning your native language, so you can help each other.
And consistency is key here. Even 15 minutes of real speaking practice 3 times a week will move you forward faster than hours of passive listening.
Tip number 4, and this ties directly into the translation trap, is to think in English, not your native language. Here's a simple exercise to start. When you learn a new word, don't translate it. Associate it with an image or experience. Instead of translating cozy, picture yourself wrapped in a warm blanket by a fireplace. That's cozy. The word gets stored directly in English.
That's such a powerful shift, because when you retrieve that word to speak, you're not going through a translation layer. It's just there, ready to use.
Exactly. You're building an English-to-world connection. Over time, more of your thinking starts to happen directly in English, and that's when speaking really takes off.
Tip number 5, use what you already know. You do not need a perfect vocabulary or flawless grammar to have a real conversation. Most everyday conversations use a surprisingly small set of words and phrases.
Studies show that knowing the most common 1,000 words gets you through around 80% of everyday conversations. You probably already know many of those. Stop waiting until you feel ready and start speaking with what you have.
And when you don't know a word, that's okay. Describe it. Use simpler words. Say, "You know what I mean?" The conversation keeps moving. Fluency isn't about knowing every word. It's about keeping the conversation alive.
I love that reframe. Fluency is about keeping the conversation alive. Write that one down, everyone.
And tip number 6, record yourself speaking. When you listen back, you hear filler words, patterns, and areas to improve that you simply can't notice while you're focused on speaking.
And more than that, you'll hear yourself improving over time. Record yourself today and again in a month. The difference will genuinely motivate you. Recording gives you proof of your progress.
Celebrate your progress, even the small wins. Said a full sentence without stopping to think? Win. Had a 30-second conversation in English? Win. Understood a joke and responded? Big win. These moments matter.
Let's also address the idea of waiting for the perfect moment to start speaking. I'll start when my grammar is better. I'll start when I know more vocabulary. I'll start when I feel more confident. Here's the truth. Confidence doesn't come before the speaking. It comes from the speaking. You have to act your way into it. Every conversation in English, even a messy one, is building that confidence.
And speaking English gets easier every single time you do it. The first time is the hardest. The 10th time is easier. The 100th time starts to feel natural. But none of that happens if you keep waiting for a perfect moment that never comes.
So let's quickly recap. First, understanding English and speaking English are two different skills. You have to actively practice the speaking side. Consuming alone won't get you there.
Second, work to escape the mental translation trap by thinking directly in English. Third, fear is normal, but mistakes are not failures. They are the actual learning process.
And the practical tips: talk to yourself in English every day. Use shadowing. Find a speaking partner. Connect words to images, not translations. Use what you know. And record yourself to track progress.
And above all, start today. Not when you feel ready, not when your grammar is perfect. Today, even if it's just one sentence spoken out loud after this episode ends.
You already have what it takes. You've proven it by understanding this entire episode. That vocabulary and grammar in your brain, it's all there. It just needs a door. And that door is your voice.
So open that door, speak, stumble, try again, because every word you speak in English is a step forward, and those steps add up faster than you think.
We believe in you. You're not behind. You're not failing. You're exactly where you need to be. And now you know what to do next.
If this episode resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and leave us a comment. What's the one speaking tip you're going to try first?
Until next time, keep learning, keep speaking, and remember, every expert was once a beginner. You've got this.